My wife went on a girls' trip, acting like it was the happiest week of her life. But on the third night, she sent me a text that shattered everything.
My wife had been excited for her girls' trip for weeks, almost too excited. She talked about it constantly, as if it were some life-changing escape. I didn't think much of it, you know? Just figured she needed a break. But then her behavior started to shift. She became distant, almost jittery, like she was hiding something behind her smile. Her phone never left her hand, and she'd laugh at messages she refused to show me. I kept telling myself I was being paranoid, that the trip would clear whatever tension was building between us. The morning she left, she barely kissed me goodbye. She said they had a tight schedule and rushed out the door before I could say much. It felt cold. For the first day or two, her texts were normal, almost overly cheerful. She sent pictures of beaches, fancy food, and her friends, all of them smiling. It looked like they were having a great time. But by the third night, her tone changed. Her messages got shorter, and the replies took longer and longer. I tried calling her, but she ignored the first 2 calls. When she finally answered, her voice sounded strained, unfamiliar. I asked if everything was okay, and she insisted it was fine, that they were just having fun and she'd talk to me later. A few hours after that call, I got the text that shattered my entire world. It just said, "I accidentally spent the night with my ex." I stared at the screen for what felt like an eternity, reading the words over and over, trying to make them mean something else. What does accidentally even mean in that context? I called her repeatedly, but she didn't pick up. My chest felt like it was being crushed. My mind was racing, trying to piece together how this could have happened. When she finally replied with another text, she claimed it just happened and begged me not to make a scene. She said she didn't want drama on her trip. Her trip? She said she'd explain everything when she got home. I didn't respond. I didn't trust myself to say anything that wasn't pure rage and heartbreak. I barely slept that night. I just laid there, awake, replaying every moment of our marriage in my head, searching for signs I'd missed. When she returned 2 days later, she walked into the house like nothing was wrong. She had souvenirs in her hand and a smile on her face as if she hadn't just destroyed me from 1,000 miles away. I didn't wait. I asked her immediately what happened. She sighed, an annoyed sigh, like I was inconveniencing her. She said her ex had been there by coincidence. She said they drank too much. She said she made a mistake but didn't want it to ruin us. I looked her straight in the eye and asked her if she slept with him. She looked away. She couldn't even meet my gaze. Her silence said everything I needed to know. I told her to pack a bag and leave the house until I could figure out what to do. She started crying, begging me to forgive her. She said she didn't mean to hurt me, that she still loved me. I told her love shouldn't feel like being stabbed in the back. She packed a small bag, her hands shaking, and left. For days, she kept texting me these long paragraphs about how she messed up. She said her friends pressured her to live a little. She said she didn't know how things went so far. I ignored most of her messages because the excuses just felt like more salt in the wound. The damage was done. But inside, I was breaking apart, just quietly. A week later, she showed up at my door unannounced. She looked exhausted, desperate. She said she needed to talk face to face. I let her in. A part of me, a small part, wanted closure. She sat on the couch and told me she regretted everything. She said she hated herself for what she did. She said losing me scared her more than anything in the world. I just listened silently while she poured her heart out. When she was done, I asked her the one question that mattered most. I asked, "Will you end things with him permanently?" "Cut off all contact right now." Her hesitation was all the answer I needed. She didn't respond right away. She didn't swear she'd cut him off forever. She didn't promise me anything with conviction. She just stared at the ground, trying to find the right words, probably trying to gather a lie. That was it. I stood up and told her our marriage was over. She burst into tears, grabbing my arm, begging me not to do this. She said she couldn't imagine her life without me. I told her she should have thought about that before she spent the night with her ex. She begged me to reconsider, but my decision was made. Trust, once it's broken like that, feels impossible to rebuild. She eventually left, crying as she walked down the driveway. I closed the door, and for the first time in over a week, I felt the weight lifting from my chest. It didn't feel good, not like a victory, but it felt right. It felt necessary. Over the next month, I started focusing on myself, on healing. I reconnected with friends I had pushed aside during the marriage. I took time for myself, rediscovering hobbies and just learning to be alone again. It was time I didn't even realize I needed so badly. Slowly, the raw pain started to fade into a kind of quiet acceptance. One day, she texted me just 2 words, "I miss you." I read the message, felt nothing, and didn't reply. Some stories don't end with a happily ever after or a grand reconciliation. Some stories end with a hard lesson, one you wish you never had to learn. And my story ended with a powerful realization. Losing her wasn't losing everything. It was the beginning of gaining back myself. Thanks for listening. If you enjoyed this story, please like and subscribe for more.